record these because we're going to put it up later. First of all, I want to start off by saying Happy New Year to everybody. 2020 is gone. 2021 is here. We are still involved in this investment, and there's a lot of good information out there, really good stuff, okay? I thought today we'd go over some of it together. You know what I'm saying? I thought it'd be important that today. Happy New Year's, yes. People are coming in. Sorry, here, admit, yep, people are coming in. I thought today I saw a very, very interesting post on the webpage. I thought it was very interesting. I don't remember who did it, but it was someone who posted a lot. And they were like, hey, not B, hey, everybody, is Iraq out of Chapter 7? Okay. And what is Chapter 7? What are the articles of the IMF? How many of them are? What's going on? So I'm going to take you around the what we call the merry-go-round real quick, if that makes sense for everybody. I think it's more, I think a lot of people had the thought process that there was only 8 articles, right? 8 total articles of the IMF, and there's more. Matter of fact, there are, let's see if I turn this landscape. Okay. There's like 13 of them, okay? If my memory serves, I can pull it up. If I could share my screen. Let me see, screen. Start broadcast. Okay. I'm sharing my screen with everybody, right? Everybody, can you see that? You can answer yes if you want to.
Yeah.
Good, okay. So this is Chapter 7. So if you go to the United States, or excuse me, not United Nations page on all the actual articles, okay? There's Article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, okay? I think people became under the misunderstanding that there was only 8 articles. Okay, so I wanted to start this off by giving everybody an overview of what Article 7 of the Charter means. The Security Council shall determine the existence of any threat of peace, breach of peace, or act of aggression, and shall make recommendations or decide what measures shall be taken in accordance with Articles 41 and 42. Those are coming up next. In order to prevent an aggravation of a situation, the Security Council may, before making the recommendation or deciding upon the measures provided in Article 39, can call upon parties concerned to comply with such provisional measures as it is deemed necessary or desirable. Such provision measures shall be without prejudice to the right claims or positions of those parties concerned. The council shall duly take account of the failure to comply with such provisions. Now, if you read all of these, and I can read them all to you, none of this says that just because you complete Chapter 7, you're automatically in Chapter 8. Or if you're in Chapter 8, if it makes you inside of Chapter 11. So if you go to Chapter 8, right? It's the Trustee Council shall consist of the following members of the United Nations. Those members administering trust territories, such as the members mentioned in Article 23, are not administering trust. Hang on here. Let's do this. I'm going to put somebody in here. They're waiting here. Waiting room, add. Sorry about that. I admitted somebody. Such of those members mentioned by the name Article 23 administering trust territories, as many other members elected for 3-year terms of the General Assembly as may be necessary, to ensure the number of members of the Trustee Council is equally divided between those members of the United Nations, which administers trust territories, and those which are not. Each member of the Trustee Council shall designate one specifically qualified person to represent therein, their functions and their powers. The General Assembly, and under its authority, the Trustee Council, in carrying out their functions, may consider reports submitted by administering authority, accept petitions and examine them in consultation with administering authority, provide for periodic visits to the representative trust territories as times agreed upon with the administrating authority, and take these and other actions in conformity with the terms of the trustee agreements. The Trustee Council shall formulate a questionnaire on political, economic, social, and educational advancement of the inhabitants of each territory, and administering authority for each trust territory within the competence of the General Assembly shall make an annual report to the General Council. Each member of the Trustee Council shall have 1 vote. Decision of the Trustee Council shall be made the majority of the members present voting. The Trustee Council shall adopt its own rules of procedures. including the method of selecting the president. The trustee council shall meet required accordance to the rules, which shall include the provisions of convening of the meetings or the requested of major members. The trustee council shall, when appropriate, avail itself for assistance. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but that's not saying that they are international. Now, if people really want to understand, right, what international is, you have to go to a different article, okay? That article, I believe, is number 6. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is not because it's funny, because Article 6 is the one, and if you're on 8, you ascend backwards, so to speak. You go from like the lowest to the highest. Can I get a head nod if everybody kind of gets what I'm saying? You start at the very highest one, and you go lower, okay, until you get to like 1. Now, what Iraq has done over the years is they've sufficiently acquired certain things, and other things they have not done, okay? So I'm trying to help people understand that, yes, if they are in Chapter 8 and out of Chapter 7, which we all know that Chapter 7 didn't say, okay, now you can internationally pacify your currency, but you know that they are in control of their own currency. And how do you guys know that? This should be your aha moment for everybody watching the Iraqi dinar. You should go, oh my God, I finally get it. Because if they can devaluate their currency, guess what the opposite of devaluation is? A raise in value.
Increase in value.
There you go. So now you know that, hey, look, if they do have control of their own currency. Okay, the IMF did not require them to devalue their currency. They did that all on their own. Does this make sense, guys? You are in a good spot. The reason for devaluation is important with some more articles that are going on. And I will show you why they devalued their currency. Again, it has everything to do with paying their bills. That's what it has to do with. Everything to do with paying their bills. They've got to be able to make payments, especially to the other politicians and people like that. And their bills. But if you guys, and I won't bore you with the slide, but if you go ahead and look at Chapter 6, International Economic and Social Operations, with the view of the creation. You guys want to see the actual slide? Would that help you guys? Shake your head for a yes. Okay. We'll go back to sharing our screen. Sorry about this. Start broadcast. Okay, so now we're back to sharing our screen. Let's go over here. Let's go to 6. Oh, hang on here. No, 4. I'm sorry, 4. Apologize. Little sticky fingers. That's not it. Oh, excuse me. That is a 9. 1 9. Sorry about that. It is right here. It is Chapter 9. International Economic and Social Operation. With a view to the, whoever is that, noise in the background, mute yourself. Thank you. With a view to the creation of the condition of stability and well-made, which are necessary for peaceful and friendly relations on a national base for respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, the United States shall promote a higher standard of living, full employment, conditions of economic and social progress and development, solutions of international, economic, social, health-related problems, and international culture, education, cooperation, and universal for respect, observance of human rights, and the fundamental freedom for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. All members pledge themselves to joint separation, action to cooperation with the organization that achieves the purpose set forth in 55, which we just named. And if you read 55, that's where your international economic prowess came from. They actually got mostly out of Chapter 7 in basically 2003. And I'll show you that one too. But this is the article here, which they've already had sufficiently done. But to be in total control of going international, you have to look at a different page. On December 16, 2020, the Security Council Committee established a pursuant resolution to 1518, approved the removal of the following entity from the list of individuals. They didn't drop all of Chapter 7. They just took a piece of it, which is Rafidian Bank. There it is, Rashid Bank, Iraq, listed on November 21st, other information activity. The names of individuals, entities from the committee sanctions list of pursuant decision by the committee to be found in the press release sections of the comment website. And it's right there if you guys want to take that down. To obtain fully updated version of the list and the individual subject to sanction measures, states are encouraged to consult on a regular basis the committee's website. The committee sanctions list is available HTML. Let's touch it. See, nothing about Iraq, right? So we go back. The United Nations Council Consolidated List is also found that there's changes. So the people that are, and this is the United Nations website, by the way. This is not my website. I don't own it. I'm just reading it to you guys. So that way, when you hear this thing, well, oh yeah, they can just automatically change the value of their currency. Well, that's not entirely true. They can devalue their currency, but they can't increase the value of their currency until they do one thing. You've got a note. Now, if you guys want me to show you this note, let me know by. Everybody see me again? If you want to see the article in which I'm being specific about, let me see here. It's in the Articles of Revelations, Resolution 1518 of the United Nations, acting under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. The Council shall establish a committee of Security Council to update lists, all concerning individuals or entities connected to Saddam Hussein. With immediate effect, Iraq assets located abroad would be transferred to an account to establish by the Coalition Provision Authority. Finally, the mandate of the new committee would be reviewed and possibly expanded to include monitoring compliance with an arms embargo against Iraq and other weapons and ammunition destined for use by the Coalition of Provision Authority. So now that we know that under the provision 1518, now you know that, hey, look, that entity is cleared from its activity. Now, remember when we did the white paper discussion, I told you guys that, hey, I really knew that one of these banks is going to have to be cleared as a custodial bank for Iraq. Since the Trade Bank of Iraq is not on any list, I think they're going to use that more for public sector. For private sector, for trusteeship, Rafah Bank might be the bank that they're trying to use. That's why they were in such a rush to deregulate it, desanction it, okay? And if you look at what the security measures are on Wiki for Iraq, the resolution situation is they have to comply with Resolution Council 1483. Do you guys want to see a picture of that one? Shake your heads, yes? Okay. Share screen. Start broadcast. Okay. Adopted on May 22nd, 2003, after recalling all previous resolutions on the situation between Iraq and Kuwait. The Council lifted trade sanctions against Iraq, excluding arms embargo and terminated the oil for food program. The resolution was drafted by the United Nations and co-sponsored by Spain and the United Kingdom. It was approved by 14 of 15 of the security members. Syria did not participate in the voting. The major thing that you really want to see right here, the resolution adopted under Chapter 7 of the United Nations resolved many of the legal and governmental ambiguities, that resulted from the 2003 invasion by U.S. and UK-led coalitions of the willing. The three most important features that recognize the U.S. coalition's responsibility under applicable international law is occupying powers, recognize the creation of Transitional Governing Council of Iraqis and remove all sanctions against Iraq that were placed under from the regime of Saddam Hussein. Additionally, it terminated the oil for food program. The resolution transferred the authority to authorize expenditures from Iraq's oil revenues from the United Nations Developmental Fund, controlled by the Coalition's Provisional Authority on May 23, 2003. Remember when I told you guys Iraq wasn't in control of their own oil? This is the true sign of them being international when they control the development fund for Iraq that is under the Coalition's Provisional Authority. By monitoring the coalition's expenditure from Iraq's oil revenue, the International Advisory and Monetary Board, the coalition authority to expand Iraq's oil revenues by conditional, the coalition was only authorized to expend those funds for the coalition was only authorized to expend funds so as long as they cooperated in the IMB's IAMB's oversight from those expenditures, and the coalition was charged with the obligation to make those expenditures with meaningful Iraqi input. So again, if you go back to what that means, I'll read it to you in plain language. If you look right here, it says the resolution transfer the authority to authorize expenditures. That's what you know. That's a little bit about XRP, but this is the part that what I want you guys to know. Now, this is in 2013, okay? The decision adopted by the United Nations Security Council, this is in 2003. Iraq has been turned an important page in its troubled national history after 23 years of punitive measures put in place under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. The country has now cleared the way to end its pariah status in the international community. This has been achieved by reaching an understanding with Kuwait on how to settle all outstanding issues, which still place it under the coercive chapter of the NT Charter. Iraq was subject to a number of sanctions, including an embargo on arms. We know that. Since many of those continuous issues have been dealt with by United Nations Security Council, decided on 29 June to address remaining questions of the missing Kuwaiti persons property under Chapter 4, i.e. the peaceful means. Iraq's only remaining Chapter 7 obligation is the payment to Kuwait in euros. So, simply put, without all the hoopla and without all the, can everybody see me okay? Back? So, without all the hoopla, without all the craziness, simply put, they've been out of Chapter 7 since 2013. But until you pay Kuwait, nothing's happening as far as international status. They can make their currency worth $1 million per dinar. But that's why I preach so much to people that, hey, look, until you pay Kuwait, everything else is rhetoric. I don't care what any guru says. I don't care if I tell you it. I don't care if Daisy tells you. I don't care who tells you. The payment to Kuwait is the only key to everything happening. The budget, great job. You made a budget. Every other country has a software that does their budget for them based on fiscal performance. This is the only other backwards country in the world that doesn't use that. We talked about that in the white paper. But the important thing to note is that, you know what? They have an opportunity to change their status by simply paying Kuwait. So now that all the other regulations are gone and things are happening, and you see them devaluing their currency, and you say, well, Mr. Brando, why are they devaluing their currency? They're devaluing their currency because they need to pay their bills. But I have to mention this. Iraq's government is going to a full electronic payment system in the next month or so. With that, the reason for it, without having the bank on any restricted means or sanctions, it means that Iraqis, which hold 77% of the whole mass of dinars that are in the world inside of their homes, now will have a reason to put that money inside of the bank, because without Rafidinian Bank being on any sanctions, now what these Iraqis do is, instead of depositing their money in Iran or in Turkey, because they give them 15 to 20% interest, now they can put that money inside of their own banks if the banks come with a realistic interest rate to make them want to put their money in the bank. You see what I'm saying? When they go to full, okay, y'all, anybody remember food stamps? Or am I that old? Shake your head yes if you remember food stamps. Okay. Remember, you always had that friend that sold food stamps? Remember? Well, now you don't sell food stamps. They buy, we call them here EBT cards. They'll say, oh, you can use my card, $20 for the groceries for $5 or whatever the deal may be. But that's what's going on inside of Iraq. Once everything goes full electronic, you can't have double and triple salaries, because you can't have 3 and 4 EBT cards to one Iraqi. The government will only issue one. At some point, if they come up with a realistic interest rate inside of Iraqi banking system that's competitive with the neighboring countries, in a month and a half, you can have a huge influx of dollars coming into the country that are already sitting in the country, but now will be inside of their coffers. Does this make sense? And you're probably going, no, this makes no sense to me. Ask a question, y'all. If you got a question, please ask, please. Because it took me only a week to think about this every day until the light bulb went off. Anybody got questions? Come on, y'all. I know somebody's got a question. They just don't want to speak up.
Okay, so if with them devaluing their money, and they do that to pay their bills, if they don't have money to pay their bills, how are they going to pay Kuwait back?
Well, here's the neat thing about them paying their bills. They are paying their bills. They're just not paying them as fast as they may want to pay them. The main bill that they always want to pay is the salaries to the employees. Don't get it twisted. You think they just paid Iran off for the electricity they used last year. So you tell me an electrical company that will give you 12-month terms on electricity. You see where I'm going with this? So if the bank is off of sanctions, now they can increase, as the financial committee can say, look, guys, if we want to get that money back in our banks, look, they offer Americans. Any of y'all got those checking things in the mail? If you put a $100 deposit in our bank, we'll give you $300. You ever wondered how they came up with the $300? Because it's digital. If the money's in the bank, then you can utilize fractional banking. $1 equals 3 in fractional banking. If 77% of the wealth is held in the mattress in the country, could you imagine if just 50% went in? 45%. Now in fractional banking, you would have money, more than enough money to not only pay all your bills, but satisfy all the citizens. Then what do? They're going to change the rate again. They're going to probably make it go up, meaning that it's about, let's say, 1,400 right now. Watch it drop, creep slowly back down to that 1,190, 1,200 area. Once you know that's happened, you know that the interest rate in Iraq is high. Therefore, now the Iraqi citizens are trusting the banking system and not running to Turkey or running to Iran, where they're getting higher interest rates because they are accepting their dinar. That should be another aha moment for you. Why would another country accept another country's worthless currency and give them top billing as far as an interest rate? Anybody thought of that one? Because there's an inherent value to the currency. Now, what that inherent value is, I don't know yet. I have my theories. We've talked about them. But truth be told, if other countries will take your money, then it has value. The United States holds dinar. It holds value. We need for what's called scarcity to take place, not a liquidity issue, scarcity. Does anybody know here when this country went basically digital, meaning credit cards, debit cards, stuff like that? Probably late 80s, early 90s. The inventions of the American Expresses became more and more popular. Your Capital One banks, you know what I mean, became more and more popular. Remember using the first time your debit card as your cash card for when you went to go pay for groceries? You're like, God, I hope this works. But guess what? It worked. That's what they're doing with this electronic payment system. They want to get the citizens because they don't do banking like we do. It's not like, well, if you give me $1,000, I'll give you $1 million. They don't do that. But what they will do is say, look, what if we could give you a rate that's better than the 5 or 7% you're getting now? What if we could get that to 15%? You would save a lot of money doing that and getting the money in the Iraqi banks than you would if you had to drive to Turkey or get a visa going over to Iran or somewhere else where you don't know the government system as well, but you're just hoping for a return on your investment. You see what I'm saying? When the banks start to entice the citizens, at that point, after they pay or while they're paying Kuwait off, you will see an inherent change of the Iraqi dinar to a positive value. Make sense? All this is happening the way they want to happen. I think it's backwards. I don't think devaluation was the key, but a flip of the switch to turn it to an increase, because now you know and I know that another person controls the oil revenue. They couldn't just pay off the bank, or they couldn't just pay off Kuwait. They were scared if they used that money to pay off Kuwait, they wouldn't have any money to sell in the auctions or to use in a transfer to dinar to pay off the salaries of the employees or to pay their bills. And the coalition wasn't going to give their money for just anything. It had to be something approved by the United Nations Council. Make sense? Please ask a question. Miss Pam? No, she's waving now. You got something to say?
No, you're explaining this. It's so interesting how you went over the whole articles and the chapters, those kinds of things. Because I thought once you move into a particular chapter, that was it. I didn't realize there was like a stage, there were processes, those kinds of things. So these is so interesting. I was talking to Debbie, and I'm like, it is so important for us to get this, like the financial literacy, the language, or to know all these types of things, because you can be so conditioned in just one area and just think that that's how the world runs, you know and here you're giving us all of this new information, and I just so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I may not necessarily know what question to ask, because I'm learning so much and I'm processing these things. But I'd have to tell you, to be honest with you, this conditioning of things, it can run your life if you don't further the education.
And this video, of course, is sponsored by the Noble Institution. If you haven't joined the Noble Institution, go out and join the Noble Institution for this financial literacy, or the education into understanding what it's just more to be rich. Or it's a lot more than just a few articles and, oh, they're international. They've been international since 2013 then. So that doesn't wow me. What wows me is when you look at the actual article and you go, well, what's resolution 14? What is that called? Resolution 1518 of chapter 7. And what's the other resolution that they were so concerned with, which was basically 1480 something, 83, I believe. And once you understand that, once they've paid off Kuwait, because they tell you right there, once you've satisfied that, you have sufficiently fulfilled all Articles of 7. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, we can hunt and peck our way through the rest of the article and say, did they do that? Did they do that? Did they do that? Well, they had to have done most of them because they've had plenty of time to do them as far as the trustees, but they didn't set up the trustee banking system that the white paper said. So some of it's recall memory, and that's hard. If you're not used to doing this, someone's like, I think Megan said, hey, when are you going to do this show? So we're going to do it tomorrow. She said, when are you going to write it? I said, oh, I don't want to do it now. I'll write it later. I said, well, give me a minute. You can ask Megan. I think I hit her back probably 2 hours, but I want to figure it out. I've got the real reason why. And if somebody could come on here and say, well, that's not the reason why, and present a intelligent argument about it, and not just because, or I said it is, or something like that, then I definitely entertain it. You know what I mean? That's why I say it's really important that you understand the investment. You understand what the United Nations Coalition is. It's understanding the IMF Bank. It's understanding how international commerce really works, and not because of a contact that I have. That I have a brain, I have a mind, I can read something, I can read it, and then I can define it, and then you can understand it. And that's hard. And that's why I want to do these Zooms, because I feel like, when you're just sitting there watching YouTube and blah, 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 reinstatement. What reinstatement? When? When we reinstate? That's all I wanted to hear. Average listening time for a YouTube video is basically 8 minutes. Our shows are an hour long. How much real interest was there? They listened to what they wanted to hear, they clicked on. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and I'm off to the next guru, so to speak. But if people actually took the time to say, well, let me truly understand what we're dealing with, then it would be fun, yes. But when someone posts, oh, well, they're international, they can do whatever they want, you can come back and say, well, they've already not been under. That's why I didn't even comment on a post. I'm like, dude, you got to read the stuff you post. You got to read it. If you never read it, you don't understand it. And once you read it, you can find all these subtexts that you got to understand for them to be international. They have control of their own currency. Yes, they do. They devalued it. They didn't ask the IMF to do that. They didn't ask the World Bank. They didn't ask the United States. Well, that then ruins the whole thought that the government was in control of the Iraq. Our government was in control of the Iraqi dinar. That's out. Number two, it makes you think, well, the president controls the Iraqi dinar. No, he doesn't. He surely wouldn't have said devalue your money to basically 25% less than it was worth a week ago. It confuses your citizens. But for us in our investment, if you're buying stocks in the Iraqi stock exchange, when you hear devaluation, bing, 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 you should be thinking, dang, if I could get my hands on $200 and go see Mr. Brando and join and stay a member, guess what? When that money reverses, you automatically did what? You gained 25% on your investment. Automatically. On those stocks you purchased within that time frame, 25% ROI right now. You tell me another stock besides the ones we all know that hit 25% ROI in days, and I will bet on all those stocks. I'll be out of it. I'll do it in America. Less regulation. But you see my point? That's how a business thinks. So I'm buying them for 25% less. Perfect. If it just goes back to 11.90, if it's sold, you made 25% on your dollar, on your dinar, which ain't much. But at least now you're in a positive return on your investment. Make sense?
So, okay. So thank you so much for that. And plus, I didn't wish you Happy New Year yet.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sweetie. So, wow, this is a plethora of information, and I thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good to have both the stock and the currency?
Now we're going to talk about a little word called diversification. Yes. Yes, it is. Diversifying one's portfolio means that I've got my finger in several pies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I created the Noble Institution, they said, well, dang, this is a lot of stuff. When you go in there and you look, well, dang, Miss Beebe's posting crypto. She's posting stocks. She's posting options. Because as you're sitting there waiting for this to happen, if you had $100 and opened up a Webull account, and I post my Webull, join Webull. Man, you can buy it right there. You get 2 free stocks just for joining. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Now my finger's in other pies, and I'm not working for it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're truly creating passive income. And if you're using the groups the way you should, when you go look at a stock tip, like Opti or something like that, you could say, penny stock, I could buy 1 million of them for $50 or whatever it is. I'll pump $50 into it. What do I got to lose? My Iraqi dinar money's sitting there, gaining value. A slight change in value from $14.50 back to $11.90. I made 25% from $11.90 to a positive value. God, could you imagine what that's going to be? But that's future income earned. That's why we're not worried about long-term capital gains inside of the IFA. The business has been alive for more than a year now. A lot of people didn't know about it because I only opened it up to you guys. I'm opening it up to more people because I think people have to realize if you buy the dinar once, it's a one-time investment. You'll be in and out. Oh. You buy the stock, that will pay you for the rest of your life. And I'll never change the $30 for you guys on that.
Okay.
It's $30. And you want to know why? Because that way I can make sure you don't lose it. Makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Because what happens is you get a lottery mentality and you say, Mr. B, I want to cash out. No, you don't. You want to cash out right now because you saw this mega mansion in Virginia that Mike Tyson used to own and you want to buy it. And the very first question I'm going to ask you is, how much is the taxes on that property? How are you going to use that property? I don't want you to blow all your money on an investment that maybe you could buy something similar from the ground up if you just bought land and built. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
And that's not just you, Miss Pam. That's me too. It's checks and balances for myself.
Yeah.
Because I can't cash you out. I got to ask everybody's permission to cash myself out. Mm-hmm. That's why it's a club. It's fun. Now, do you need a daily update? Do you need a stock report? If you guys, and I don't mean this to be negative, and it sounds really ugly what I'm going to say, but I don't want to say it in a mean way. If most people can't understand the articles and the resolutions of the IMF, which are simply put on a free webpage, could you really do a stock evaluation? Really? Just guessing. No, you can't. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You're not sitting in front of a computer 15 to 18 hours a day like I am and doing nothing but reading. And even then I get some stuff wrong. I get a lot of stuff wrong. I'm not the all-seeing eye, but I'm looking out for the future because a lot of people can only see what's right in front of their face.
Right.
And I also want to make sure you don't screw over yourself by making sure your taxes come out of it beforehand. I'm not going to have anybody losing here. I want every one of you to win. That's why I want you to join the group. They're like, $30, you don't put up a bunch of articles. I don't have to. I got to do the Zoom once a week because I feel like if I don't, people will truly get confused. Right? And if we don't control our emotional expectation, then we can't control our business expectation either. And that's why I'm here, to help with that. Now I got to ask Miss Deborah. Miss Deborah, she got her hand raised. What you want to say, sweetie?
I want to ask like the difference between the passive. Like, if you had like $200, would it be better to put it into a block or better to put it into passive income right now?
Okay, I will tell you this. I think you should do both, and I'll tell you why. I think if you could save up enough money to do passive trading, that money's typically earned Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday a week. And then if you had winnings from that, right? You're gonna have money coming in from that. You take your winnings down and you say, Brandon, I got an extra $200 here. I want to buy a block. That way you're not digging in your pocket and every time coming up with the money to do another investment. Let one investment pay for another and diversify your portfolio. And that's why I did passive trading. I don't make a dime off passive trading, but what you do with your wins is what you do with them. I don't want people to come back and say, man, I should have took my money down. I lost money. Yeah, you should have took it down. I send out emails and text, take your money, take it out, take it. You hit a lick for $300, take it out. Now you got another block in your hands. Or you got money to do something else with. Buy something on Webull. Look at the options and the stocks that Ms. April puts in the stock part of the Noble Institution and go invest in one of them stocks. Wait a couple days, get some more money, and then buy a block. But at least this way you're diversifying your income and you're starting to learn how to manage your own portfolio.
Okay, thank you.
And Eric even said here, let me see. Eric said, and we have enough time to buy blocks like the summer or something like that. Yeah, dude, you're going to have time to buy blocks until I tell you, look, don't buy no blocks. You want to do this. Or I'll tell you, buy blocks as many as we can. If you hear me come here and say, I'm buying, I don't know, $10,000 of my own money in blocks, you know something big's about to happen. I'm changing from a long-term strategy at that point to one that I would say is at least 3 months or less. And no, I know there's other people out there that say the stock exchange tells you stuff. No, they can't, and I'll tell you why. The stock exchange people can't tell you anything because that's an ugly word called insider trading. They ain't gonna tell you. You think your friendly broker at the SEC is going to tell you that Amazon's about to plunge? No. The only people that do that are U.S. senators. Kelly Loeffler, Will Purdue, all the rest of it made money in the stock market when all of us sat around and suffered. But they were privy to information inside of Congress that allowed them to make stock purchases that benefited them. But that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. I don't know a U.S. senator that's going to let me do it. Because they go to jail, and I go to jail. It wouldn't be fun. See what I'm saying? So be weary of all these my contacts. Put those contacts into context and say to yourself, I got a question for that. How is that possible? If they're in the NASDAQ SEC system as far as software, do you think they're going to allow them to do insider trading? No. Never happened. And good. We don't want them to. We don't want them to be involved in shiesty businesses. But that's why I say don't you get enough money to start your passive trading immediately. Get $500, save. Man, you get $75 3 times that week, 4 times that week. Man, you bought your block and put $100 in your pocket. My old boss said 100 on your hip makes you loose on your lips. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but you make $100 a week for 52 weeks. On a $500 investment, you made 100 times the money back, as well as paid for your membership. So when people tell me I can't afford it, well, you got cable, right? You got a gym membership that you don't go to? You buy Starbucks? I sacrifice for the things that I want because I know, hey, I don't have a gym membership anymore. I take my big butt up, I go walk my 4 miles, and I come right back here with my sauna suit on. Because I know that, you know what, that gym membership ain't gonna put money in my pocket in 3 days. Passive trading will. And you don't win all the time. You don't. But you're winning a lot more than you're losing, and you're actually seeing a return on your money, which makes you feel good. I love to see my bank account grow. Man, I'll tell y'all something. Any of y'all got your stimulus check? Anybody got your stimulus on your Cash App or anything yet? Make you guys laugh. I don't mean to tell April's business, but I'm gonna tell her business. April took $500 of her last stimulus check. The last one we got, what was that, about 8 months ago, 10 months ago? She put it into Bitcoin. You know, she's sitting on $2,100 right now. You see what I'm saying? And we posted that in the group. But if you don't utilize the website with social media background, check the groups. I can only provide the tools. I can't make you drink the Kool-Aid. And it's tough. And some of you might need some one-on-ones. And no, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving financial advice. These are some friends talking about investing because it's a fun thing to do. And off of that, you make your own decisions because you're a grown-up. But this is exciting times. Electronic payments, awesome. Raffian Bank, awesome. But they've been international since 2013. I wasn't moved. Now, does anybody else got any questions about LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, taxes? Ask, y'all, ask. This is the last half. We've only got 20 more minutes.
Okay, so Debbie, I'm going to go and ask him again because we talked about LLCs and excuse me, the S corp. You know what? Ever since you mentioned the whole thing about I wasn't on last week, but the week before,
right?
And you talked about you mentioned 501c3. You mentioned some of us who are in the ministry.
Yes.
And to open okay, can you explain that to me again?
Yes.
I'm trying to put it in words, but please explain
okay,
that.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
If you're looking for a tax divertant, right? You want to divert your tax. The only way you can really honestly do it, and for it to be clean,
Yeah.
is a 501(c).
Okay.
If you were a church or a school, and you took your monies and put into a 501(c), the person that deposited it would get a tax benefit, and the business would get a tax benefit. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
The reason why you want an S Corp or a C Corp is a layer of liability protection. Meaning that you're not, if you own an S Corp and an LLC, they're taxed pretty much the same way. Okay?
Okay.
It's considered personal income. The only way at that point you can divert that, if you got a huge windfall of money, is buy a bunch of real estate, buy a bunch of houses. Right from your business, buy a house, lease an apartment, or lease a car. Those things, tax diversion. You will not evade tax, okay? Owning a company, that is a myth, not true. But you will give yourself a layer of protection that will. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay, so and that's what you talked about before, by using your EIN number to purchase.
Yes.
Okay.
You should be building up your business credit as we speak, using your EIN numbers to apply for fleet cards, basic business cards, everything, and use those business cards like you would use your personal cards. Take your personal cards and put them in a drawer. You go out to dinner with your friends and family, put it on your business.
So when you get your EIN number, is it not attached? It is not. Is it attached to your Social Security number?
Depends on how the loan's set up. If you've established enough business credit through, like, let's say, what do they call them, trade venues, it would take Venus to really explain this to you because Venus is way better at it than I am.
Okay.
But Venus is awesome, and she knows all this stuff. But Venus got me started with it. And you go out and you get like a trade venue, like one of them is called Granger, and you buy a garbage can. They give you net 30 days terms. You can pay it off in 10 days. Pay it off in 15. You're building credit through your business. Just how your social has credit, you're going to build your business credit. Instead of using your social security number, use your EIN number, build your credit up. Okay? Then, if you want to go get a loan from a bank, use your EIN number. It's for your business. PPE loans, all that stuff. And pay for it with your business and invest in your business and invest in those people that are paying for you so you reap the tax benefit. If you have a choice between paying $1 in tax or paying $100,000 to your business, you should always pay $100,000 to your business.
Okay. And so with that, now, suppose I want 7 streams of income. I
Mhm.
I am to get 7 EIN numbers, correct?
No, no.
Oh,
You need one EIN number, and then it's called doing business as.
got it. Oh, okay. So, all right.
You need 7 different bank accounts, basically. Don't muddy the water.
Don't muddy the
Meaning that
water.
let's say you got Miss Pam's Ministries.
Yes.
Okay. Going down, you got Miss Pam's Charity, Miss Pam's School, Miss Pam's let's say care for the elderly, Miss Pam's apartment complex, Miss Pam's real estate, Miss Pam's whatever 7 arms you got going off Miss
Oh,
Pam.
doing business as for each and oh boy, thank you for that.
Rectamundo.
Okay.
You want a separate bank account for tax purposes because all those won't be nonprofit. Some of them will be for profit.
Right.
And you want to take the profit from that and invest in what? The nonprofit of that business. See why? I'm not paying tax.
Interesting. Thank you.
Business takes as a tax write-off. The person deposited takes the tax write-off. The business takes the tax write-off. And it increases the revenue for the business that doesn't make money for profit.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Miss Deborah, did you want to give me one? Your hand's still raised, honey. You're muted, though, honey. I can't hear you. No? No question? Megan, you want to say anything?
What is that fascinating telehealth thing you got all over Facebook?
Well, it's always been a passion when people ask me what I'm doing. We launched our trading group. Everybody knows about that, passive active stocks and stuff like that. It has always been a dream of mine to provide affordable health care to Americans because most Americans cannot afford to go to an urgency care clinic. They just don't have the money. With our clinic, which is online, which launched in Texas first, we're going to either California or Florida next. What we're going to do is we're going to provide affordable health care to people where they don't have to leave the comforts of their home. The thing that made this a believer for me is we have a very good friend, or Ape was a very good friend, that they have a little boy. And the little boy could have went to a telehealth visit for his screening, his physical for the year, but he went to a doctor's office. Do you know what happened to that little boy? He caught COVID-19 and now he's in ICU. If he could have avoided going to a doctor's office and stayed home, he would probably be well today. So by us launching TNI Telehealth, it was our way of saying, look, we're going to provide excellent licensed medical professionals to give you every benefit. We can send you to a lab. We can get you a prescription, no controlled substances, but we can do all this for you from the comfort of your own home. And if you have a flex spending card or the one that starts with an H spending card, you can use that and then your company pays for it. Or if you want to take your receipt, mail it off to your insurance company, they will reimburse you for the visit. So you can get top-notch medical attention from home, as well as get prescriptions prescribed and everything else. So telehealth for me is my way of trying to give back and really be proud to say that, you know what? Socialism ain't going to free us. Capitalism is, but not crony capitalism, not corrupt capitalism, but the village helping the village capitalism. Because we all need help. We all need doctors. I don't care what anybody says. We need doctors. And they can converse with you via, like we are right here on a telemessaging, or you can text them. They can send you an email. It's all from your phone or your laptop or your mobile device. I'm super excited about TNI Telehealth. Super excited for that. Come on, y'all. We got 10 minutes. Any more questions? Come on now. Pepper me with something.
I got a question for you.
Shoot, Willie.
Hey, so like on our passive trading or whatever, say we got 500 in or whatever, and then who's ever controlling the stocks and stuff like that, say the person that got 500 makes 200. Do y'all send an email letting us know that you got a $200?
I tried to, like I sent one to you. Remember?
To you did send one
personally.
Asking for the group, so everybody would know.
I know, but yes, I try to reach out to everybody.
It's
and
not
everybody I can think of. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But I got 200 people that's in that group. It's kind of hard to get to everybody. But I tried to mention as many people, especially the ones that are in tier 2 and 3, because when you guys made that $300 in 20 minutes, I want you to take it down. Your leverage doesn't increase. It's still leveraging off your initial deposit.
Right. And whenever, sometime this week or when you get a chance, I need to talk to you about that too, because I kind of got mine stuck. I don't know how to move it. So
It's not stuck. I froze it.
Huh?
I froze it. You're not stuck. It's froze.
Okay, good.
I did it on purpose. I'll call you anyway, but I did it on purpose. Trading was going bad, and someone has to make the decision to say, hey, look, leave it alone for a couple days. It was going sideways. So I said, no, get out of it. First of the year, especially I'm hoping for January 6th are big days, January 20th are big days. Love the new president or hate the new president. There needs to be some type of cohesiveness within the United States, especially in the market.
That part, I don't even fool with none of that, because that's y'all thing. I'm talking about the money that, that you hit me up with that, I made the other day.
Yes.
Now I moved it, but now I don't know how to move it to my bank account and all that. That's
okay. I'll get you with April. We got to convert it to Bitcoin, from Bitcoin back to you.
Well, actually, I want to put it in something else to.
No, Eric, you can't compound on passive trading. You can't compound it unless you go from a tier 2 to a tier 3. Make sense? If you got a $500 account and then you jump up to a $1,000 account, yeah, it'd be compounded. But once you get to 1,000, until we get some $5,000 people and create a group 4, you can't compound. It's a leverage. It's different. It's not compound interest. You got to take your wins down. Keep them. Now, here's another thing I want to tell you about tax. Unless you take out more than $600, don't worry about taxes. You hear me? So if you take out 5 times $200, that don't count. It's if you made a profit of $600 and then withdrew it all at the same time, then you have a tax liability associated with it.
So if you make 600, but you only take 2 out, you still don't pay taxes on it.
Exactly. The next day you take 2 out. The next day you take 2 out. You got your 6.
What is 6 a day though?
Oh, 6 in a day as a profit doesn't count against you. It's only when you withdraw it and turn it into liquid. Okay.
So if you took $5.99 out, it's still not a profit.
Correct. Yeah, $599.99. Just like if you go and get caught with a bunch of cash, have $9,998 on you, don't have $10,000. You can't get in trouble. It's all justifiable income at that point.
Cool.
Any more questions? We got 7 minutes, y'all. Please, if you've got something that's been on your heart or mind, ask. Trust me, because I'm doing it with you. And I can't wait till more of you guys get to the level of being on those 501(c) levels, your S Corps and your LLCs and stuff like that, to where I can talk about your business brokerage accounts. Totally different.
Okay.
But I can only take the last 2 steps.
Okay. So when we decide to do the passive trading, do we discuss with either you or Megan the diversity of the stocks, or are there stocks that you? Oh.
The passive trading is different. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're talking about stocks trading, that's inside the group. You pick your stocks, you do what you want. Options are done by calls. So we call it, you can input it, do that. Now, if you're talking about passive trading, no. You get with me or Megan and you say, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to put in $500. I just want to see my money work for me. And what I do with it past that point's on me. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
And that's why we set the tiers up the way they are, so you really wouldn't ever hit that. I mean, God, I wish you had $600 every day. But if you didn't, then I can make sure that nobody's going to be under some weird tax liability.
Okay. Okay, great. And so I wanted to say thank you to Megan again. She was very instrumental in getting me the information that I needed. So thank you, Megan.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. So
it was a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, same here, honey. Same here. Same here. So, okay, new year, new beginnings, and new investments. How about that?
Yeah, new year, new beginnings. Diversification should be another word, and ultimate transparency, right? I want to get it to the point where we do less of the lecture and
Yeah.
more of the question.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I want you to walk away from this having a question and saying, you know what, next week I'm going to ask him about, you know, if I had a 501c and if I did my investments through that, how would that work?
Right. Right.
That's the questions I want to pepper you with.
Yeah, that's good, because that was on my mind for a while. Yeah, and so you'll be working more with like financial terms, the financial. It's just so important for me at this stage of the game to really look out for me. Okay.
Look out for number one. You can
And
be your favorite
to
character.
know more about. I'm sorry, you went out. That was probably me. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said your favorite charity should be you first. You take care of home first. Your life, your business. Because Miss Pam, Miss Deborah, Jerome, Cherie, SR Lux, Will, Willie, Marco, 717, 706, Mad Max, Eric, everybody that's sitting here, I want you to be able to say next year, man, I want to give away $100,000. You know, Greg, who's involved with Noble, big time, said, you know what, next year I want to give away $100,000. And I said, Greg, I love the idea. By what method? How are you gonna give away $100,000? That means literally you have to make darn near $5 million to justify giving it away.
Okay.
Unless you just want to give it away. But that's what I want to create. I want to create that brand and that level of knowledge that you can say, yeah, Mr. Brando, we do a lot of stuff as a group, but I got some stuff on my own I'm working on. I got some stuff that I'm got popping off. And once you get the basic infrastructure down, you can do the rest easy.
Yes.
Any more questions, y'all? Everybody's so quiet. Nobody got their cameras on. Y'all must be all in your house coats.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
laying.
Brando,
Want to see me laying in the bed.
That's all right. Will, go ahead, Will.
hey, I got on a little bit late, so I probably missed the if you covered anything about the article. So I may just send you something in the Noble, so I don't hold people up.
I'm gonna post this on YouTube anyway. So give yourself probably an hour so you can watch it from the beginning, bro.
Okay, cool.
That way, I have so many people hitting me up. How do I join? How do I join? How do I join? Go on there, select the $30 tier, get into LISX, and do your thing on the articles and stuff like that. I try to do a recap for those that don't like to read on Sundays. I do them early. I know it's kind of hard for everybody because people are busy, but I try to knock out the articles so we can get to the business end of things next. Okay. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope everybody's excited about 2021. I hope all you guys have an outstanding day. I hope you have a wonderful week. And if you got any investment questions, man, hit me up on Noble if you're on Noble. And if you're not, DM me. We will get your questions answered. And join the Noble Institution because you want to make some money this year. You want to work. You already work hard enough. Okay? All you guys work hard enough. Work smart this year. Okay? Let's turn this year into something positive. If we got to make the positivity ourselves. Okay? I'd love to see a few churches open, a few ministries open, a few schools open. Things are going to educate people. All of you have skill sets that are out there that can educate people, and you can open up these 501(c)(3)s or these LLCs or escrow forever. I just want to see you ultimately be successful. Okay? I'll see you guys next Sunday. If you guys are into the trading aspect, me and Megan will be trading New York session on Thursday for active trading, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.
Bye. Thank you.
Peace.